Hello everyone. This is my third video in my series on the Great Learning, or the Daxue, a section of the Book of Rites. Generally speaking, the text that you should start with if you're going to be diving into Confucianism. Okay, so to quickly review, we ended in the second video talking about how all things have a beginning and an end, right? So we had more things possess roots and branches. Roots and branches are going to be something that we're going to see a lot of all throughout the text that we'll be reading. It is a very common metaphor for beginnings and ends. There's lots of metaphors about how to treat plants, and by extension, you take the treating of a plant to represent the treating of the self and the cultivation of the self. But okay, so things possess roots and branches. Affairs possess ends and beginnings. If this character here set up our if statement, right? Ze, this one right here, ze, and then. So if this first section here, if we know that which is at the beginning and the end, we know the beginnings and ends of things, the things that come first and the things that come after. Knowing that which comes first and after, then we get close to the way. Okay, we don't really know a whole lot about what the way means yet, but today we're going to learn about the firsts and the laters, in the sense of we're going to look at the process about how we step through different stages of the cultivation of the self and beyond in order to eventually get to the point where we're controlling states or something along those lines, right? And then we finished with this last character E, basically saying, and that's all, ending a statement that ended this first part of the Great Learning. But so, okay, let's go and take a look at the next section where we're going to get a nice process. Now, I've split this up a little bit because I'm going to start actually with what's going to be our topic. So basically, this is just one section of this next line. Maybe I should make this a little bit thinner. This is one section of our next line that's not actually going to give us all the details yet. It's just going to set the stage for what we're going to see after it, okay? But this is one big topic. And you'll see that the end of the topic actually has our nominalizer jaw, right? So this is a nominalizer. We've seen that a lot already in this section. We see it everywhere in classical Chinese. And what that does is it takes something that comes before it and makes it into a noun. Now, in the case of this one, we're going to see that actually all of this is contained within this nominalizer. So this is saying something like one who, or one which. I guess I don't really need those quotes there. It's not really important. One who or one which. Now, this section that is contained within this nominalizer actually is fairly complex. Let's make sure that we know all the words, and then after we know all the words, then maybe we can put it all together. I'm going to start here at the end of it actually. 天下 is a compound, which basically means the world, but we like to call it all under heaven. Heaven capitalized, meaning it's like the spiritual aspect of heaven. It's the same heaven, the same Tian that gives the mandate to the rightful ruler, something else that we'll encounter elsewhere in Confucianism as we read. But literally, if you want to break it apart, xia means below. It's a locative noun. And then Tian means heaven. And we've already seen attributives in this. So you could basically see this as xia. What kind of xia? 天之下, right? We've seen that if you take, and we're going to see that here as well, if you put a zhi in between two nouns, then we basically say, okay, we have a noun two. What type of noun two? A noun one, noun two. So we have below, below what? What type of below? Below heaven. Okay, all under heaven. So this actually, by extension, that just means the whole world. The world. Kind of messy there. Make it look a little nicer. The world. Okay. Then we have a couple grammar points. I'm going to put those there. We'll come back to that. Let's do this section here now. So, de is a very complex idea that pops up all throughout early Chinese thought in various forms. In this case, I'll call de virtue, something like that. It's a generally positive philosophical idea, a characteristic of the self and the way one thinks and acts. Now, in terms of actually getting to a perfect translation of the word, that's very difficult because we're not looking at a one-to-one mapping onto the semantic meaning of English philosophical terms. I'll gloss it as virtue. You're going to have to develop your own understanding of it as we read. As people describe what they think de means, you'll learn more and eventually be able to build up your own idea of what it means that's outside of just the English singular word virtue. But positive characteristic, okay? I'll call it virtue, right? Then we have Ming. Now we have two Mings here. And we're basically going to see two different usages of it. The basic meaning, the combination of the sun and the moon, gives us bright, okay, as kind of like a stative verb and adjective. But it also can mean to brighten as a verb, which you can also then by extension basically take it to mean to elucidate or illuminate, illuminate, which I basically mean to make it clear, to clarify, to make it manifest, to brighten it in the sense of to make it shine onto things. Okay, so we're going to see as an adjective stative verb as well as like an active verb here. So basically what we see, de is a noun. We have a verb which acts on a verb noun pair. This is actually a stative verb. So it's describing de. So you can think of it as kind of like Ming zhi de. So that is what type of virtue? Luminous virtue, bright virtue. Bright is a little bit more of a simplistic term. Luminous, something like that might sound a bit more fancy in terms of philosophical ideas or something like that. But anyways, we have a verb that's acting on this noun, which is modified by a stative verb. Okay. Then we have another verb, which is a very common one that we'll see in a lot of texts, yu. So this means to want to desire to want. Okay? And then lastly, we have a noun over here. Oops, it's a little messy there. Apologies. I'm still getting used to using this thing again. This means ancient in a stative verb sense, but it can also mean as a noun, ancient times. Okay? Right. So this is a noun pair over here. Okay, so that's all of our characters except for the grammar points. So I'm going to put the grammar points over here. So this one yu. This is a locative, which means that if we take yu and then put a place, it is saying at. I keep putting these quotations. We don't really need to put that. At place. Simple as that. Okay. Now, in terms of how we read that within the sentence, we'll see here in a little bit. But so for this case, it's whatever's immediately following the yu. So we're saying at a place, what place? This place, all under heaven. So in all under heaven. Okay, so that's this section down. In all under heaven, or at all under heaven, on all under heaven. It's any type of locative, and depending on the English usage, we have to modify it there. But okay. Then we have to elucidate or illuminate, luminous virtue. And if we attach that then to our locative, you can think of it as to illuminate luminous virtue in the world, in all under heaven. Okay. Then we have desire. Desire is then attached to this whole thing here. To desire to do what? To desire to illuminate luminous virtue in the world. Okay. And we think of that as one who, right? Now, this last one, ancient times, we have a zhi here. So we can think of this as being our noun one, zhi, and then all of this becomes our noun two. So what type of noun two? A noun one, noun two. Okay, so what's our noun two? Our noun two is one who desires to illuminate luminous virtue in all under heaven. What type of that type of person? In ancient times. Okay, putting it all together. One who in ancient times wished to or desired to illuminate lustrous luminous virtue in all under heaven, comma. Okay, so that's our big, large topic. It says one who wants to do all that stuff, one who wants to do that particular thing. Well, what's our comment then? Well, our comment is very long. Our comment is going to walk us through step by step about what that type of person would do. In ancient times, a person who wanted to illuminate lustrous virtue in all under heaven. So that's our topic, ... from the previous, from up there. Okay. This is our topic from up there. Let me put the arrow there too, so you can see it. Good. We're going to actually see step by step by step, and it's going to be somewhat repetitive at times, but we're going to see step by step what we're actually doing. Okay, so in order to do that, you first, 先 first, 治 to govern or to control, 其 this is the genitive pronoun. That means it's some type of known noun. 知, put that together as a contraction, becomes 其. Okay. Now this noun that is being injected into here is something that should be known, and we're talking about a type of person, one who wants to do something. That's actually the topic, right? So we're injecting the one who in ancient times wanted to illuminate lustrous virtue in all under heaven. Their 国. This is state. State. Or it could be walled city. okay, depending on the context that we have. Okay, so if they're only in control of a walled city, then they're in control of a walled city. They should be governing and controlling their walled city. Or if it's the larger aspect of it, it's state. Now this kind of duality of meaning comes from originally a state was written using this character bang. But then after the ascendancy of the first emperor of the Han Dynasty, Liu Bang, because this was his given name, it became taboo. So then all states took on the same character, the same word as walled city. So it somewhat ambiguous here. If there's a manuscript which uses bang, then it would clarify it. But suffice to say, it doesn't really matter so much. They're in control of something, either a walled state or a city. Okay, so we have our verb to control. Then this right here is noun, noun. What type of state? The state of the person, the guy who wants to illuminate illustrious virtue. They are controlling or governing their state. And then this xian is an adverb to firstly control. The first thing that you're going to do. Now it could also be a marker of time as well, just saying in the first place. But it doesn't really matter so much in our interpretation here, right? So first, control their state. So they do first. Okay, but so that's step one. I'll put step one right there. Okay, but now this here, you make sure that you'll be able to see this clearly, actually. So this is step one. Then this section here is step two. Okay, so what are we doing in step two? Well, you'll see right here, these three characters, and this is going to repeat every single step. We're going to see that we're referencing back to what we've already said. So if you want to, remember this character from up above, verb yu was to want to, or to desire to want to. If you want to, so here we're going to see an if-then statement, but we don't actually see the character 则, which was marking if and then. But you don't really actually need to write in these characters, these grammatical characters, when the context is obvious. And we're going to see that there's going to be, so that if this was one, we're going to see step one repeated again, and then step two is attached to it saying, well, if you want to do step one, you actually have to do step two first. Okay, so if you want to control the state, then we have 者, nominalizer. That nominalizer is then taking all of this that came before it, turning it into a noun, one who desires to control their state or to govern their state. First, again, same character as over here, first, then we have some new words. Okay, first word is 其, to order or to put in order. 其, that's that same genitive pronoun that we saw over here. That's referring again back to the original topic. And then we have 家, household or family. Okay, so basically what we're seeing is that we're actually moving smaller from what we originally started with. We're originally starting with, we're wanting to control the state. Oh, but if one who wants to control the state, they actually first have to order their family. So this is verb, noun, 知, noun. Okay? Right. So people who wanted to illuminate illustrious virtue and all under heaven first ordered their state. Oh, but before that, they actually first needed to order their family. Well, guess what? Move on to the next one. What are we going to see? We're going to see the family again, ordering the family. Right? I'm going to put a big line right here because this is going to be step 3. This over here, and another big line. This is going to be step 4. And you'll notice that this whole structure here is repeated from above. Up here again. Desiring to control one's state, 者, one who. Well, now we have the same thing, but it's coming in for step 2. One who desires to order their family. Nothing new there. First, that adverb, actually, we move another step smaller, another step down the ladder, and we have some new ones. We have our genitive pronoun qi there. That's the same exact usage that we've seen so far. And we only actually have 2 new characters in this line. We have xiu, which is to cultivate. And then we have shen, which is the body or the self. Okay, so what do we learn? Same exact structure that we already encountered. One who desires to order their family, first cultivate the self. Cultivate themselves. Cultivate their body. Now, what is meant by this cultivation? So, to cultivate the body. What is meant by this cultivation, we don't know yet. But guess what? Step 4 is going to basically tell you how you get to cultivation, right? Because look, cultivate the body appears again. One who desires to cultivate the body. Bam, same exact structure again. Guess what? First, we move another step smaller to genitive pronoun, same exact one. And we have 2 new words, 正 and 心. So 正, a verb meaning to rectify. And 心, a noun meaning heart or mind. So this is a little bit different from the way that we think about it. In early Chinese thought, you think with your heart, and so this heart does actually mean this like visceral heart, but it also means the place where your thoughts are actually taking place. So sometimes people decide to actually call it heart mind, to kind of get that across, that it is both the visceral and the thought, the conscious aspect of the mind. But okay, so one who desires to cultivate the body, first rectify their mind. So first they must rectify their mind. Okay, and then guess what? So this actually is, it's split on 2 different lines, but the 5th one, this right here, repeating back again, one who desires to rectify their heart mind. Guess what? Scroll down. We have another step down the ladder. First, they must, genitive pronouns, same exact one, and 2 new words. We have cheng and yi. So cheng is to make sincere, I think would be the best way to put it. It literally means like truthfulness, to tell the truth. But in the case of taking an object, it is to make truthful, to make sincere, I think, because the next one, this noun, e, is something like intentions, the things that you're thinking about. Okay? So we are making sincere our intentions. So going back up really quickly to see what we're saying, one who desires to rectify the heart mind, first make sincere their intentions. Okay? And then we're making sincere intentions again there. One who, verb, desires to make sincere their intentions. This is, what are we at now? This is step 6 now. We're on step 6 of the process. Going down the ladder, down the ladder. One who desires to make sincere their intentions. First, they verb their noun. What are our new verbs and nouns? We have 治 and we have 知, to establish and knowledge. Okay, so one who desires to make their intentions sincere, first establish their knowledge. Okay, so how do we establish our knowledge? We actually get our last step, which stands alone in a different structure over here. Establishing knowledge. Those are these same verbs and nouns that we already found. Now it's taken away from the person though. Here it was establish their knowledge, but now we're just going to get the general statement of establishing knowledge. Establishing knowledge, 在, lies in, or just simply is in, perhaps. It's a locative verb saying at a place. It's the same as in modern Mandarin. It's very similar in its usage to the modern Mandarin 在. But so establishing knowledge lies in verb. This here is actually, that's a terrible little drawing there. This is actually a verb and a noun that acts together as a gerund object of this verb, 格 and 物, to delineate, to separate, and things. You could maybe potentially interpret this as to place things in their categories in a certain way, to good there and to good over there, to take things and make distinctions between them and separate them out to understand their differences, so you know that that is that and this is this. Okay, so establishing knowledge lies in 格物, the delineation of things. Okay, so let's go back and look at the whole process here again. So our big topic at the very beginning was, in ancient time, one who in ancient times desired to illuminate luminous virtue in all under heaven. Okay, first controlled or governed their state. One who desires to govern their state first orders their house. One who desires to order their house first cultivates the self. One who desires to cultivate the self first rectifies their heart-mind. One who desires to rectify their heart-mind first makes sincere their intentions. One who desires to make sincere their intentions first establishes their knowledge. And establishing knowledge lies in the delineation of things. Okay, so this idea of the delineation of things, or 格物, ends up coming up again and again in Confucianism because it's fundamentally, through this statement, it lies at the beginning of the entire process. From the ground up, it starts with knowledge, and from knowledge, that's where you eventually get to the point where you can cultivate the self, order the house, govern the state, depending on who you are. Okay? So, I think that's enough for today. It's a lot to sink in, and this will serve as a basis for a lot of what is said later on, both within this text that we're reading, as well as a lot of other Confucian texts down the road. So, that's enough for today. I look forward to seeing you on the next installment of this series as we continue reading The Great Learning. If you like this video, give me a like, obviously. If you like the channel, in addition to this, and you want to have notifications for when I post other videos, please hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications so that I can see you back in the next one, all right? Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time.